This might be one of the strangest Disney obsessions on the internet right now. For years, a woman named Tony has been visiting Disneyland specifically to see Peter Pan, and she hasn't just met one Peter Pan actor, she's interacted with multiple actors who've played the character, filmed these interactions, and posted them online. But recently, some of those videos started going viral, and instead of people saying, wow, she really loves Disney, viewers started asking a completely different question. Are these Peter Pan actors actually uncomfortable around her? Because once you start seeing through her videos, some of these interactions are pretty difficult to watch. The woman we're talking about is Tony, who goes by Baby Tony99 on TikTok and Instagram. Looking through her social media, it's immediately obvious that she's a huge Disney fan, but Peter Pan seems to be her obsession. She's posted countless videos and photos involving Peter Pan at Disneyland, and this appears to be going on for years. I don't know exactly when it started, but I was able to find posts going back as far as 2015. In one post, she talks about meeting her lost boy 10 years earlier and says that the experience changed her life. And while that alone isn't necessarily strange, people get attached to fictional characters and Disney performers all the time, but some of her recent videos have caused people to look at these interactions very differently. And one in particular is what really put her on people's radar. On July 31st, Tony uploaded a video that went massively viral, gaining around 24 million views. In the video, she's giving Peter Pan this crochet toy that she made for him. At first, it seems completely innocent. She's excited to give him the gift, and he's responding to her while staying in character. But then people started paying attention to his body language. As Tony gets closer to him, he appears to still move slightly away from her, trying to create some distance. And instead of stepping back, Tony continues moving closer. He just looks so uncomfortable. At one point, she gets really close to him, and it's almost as if he's gripping the wall. It just looks so strange. Now, obviously, we don't actually know what the actor was thinking. We can see inside his head, and it's entirely possible that there's more context that we just didn't see, but the comment section had a very different interpretation. People started saying that he looked uncomfortable and that they felt sorry for him because he has to remain in character regardless of what's happening. And the comments are absolutely hating on her. You have this one which said, "It's not special if you do it all the time," he says, and looks you straight in the eyes hoping you'll take the hint. And then you have this other one saying, "The barely hidden hatred in his eyes, oh my god." And then you have this picture of him that's saying he hates you so much, and then the other one which is quotes and says you should try it, and he's like, no. And it's this other one which is my favorite, is he's already in tights, don't piss him off more. And yeah, they're just really going in on him, and just so funny to see. And then I found another video that makes this whole situation even stranger. In another video, Peter Pan is interacting with this little girl, and it honestly just looks so adorable. He's talking to her, staying in character, and doing exactly what we expect from a Disney character interaction. And then we look off to the background and we see Tony, just menacingly. She's standing off to the side watching the interaction, and the way the video is edited almost makes it look like she's waiting for Peter Pan to finish with the little girl so she can take her turn, which is just really funny. And when you realize how many videos there are of her specifically seeking out Peter Pan, you start to understand why people online become so fascinated with this. There are literally videos of Peter Pan actors running away from her. She's trying to kiss them, and it's she's the actors are trying to ignore her, turning away. And you have this one when she's trying to hug him, and he's just not into it. Oh my gosh, she's terrorizing them. Now, I want to be clear about something. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being a Disney adult. You can love Disney, you can visit Disneyland all the time, every day of the year, whatever. You can have a favorite character, you can even have a favorite actor who plays that character. None of that is inherently strange. The reason these videos are getting attention is because people feel like there's a difference between being a fan and becoming overly involved in the personal space of the people playing these characters. And there's another reason Peter Pan specifically makes people uncomfortable. The character is traditionally portrayed as a child who refuses to grow up. So when an adult just keeps fixating on him, it's just really uncomfortable. That doesn't mean we know Tony's intentions, and I don't think it's fair to make accusations about someone solely based on clips we see online, but it does explain why these videos have caused such a strong reaction in people. And here's where things get even more interesting because after going down this rabbit hole, I realized that Tony isn't the only person online who has developed this unusual, intense attachment to the Peter Pan actors at Disneyland.
What happens when Tumblr users become obsessed with Disney Parks Peter Pan actors and subsequently makes an entire fanbase based off of them? The answer is stalking. The Peter Pandom was popular in the late 2000s and early 2010s, and it focused on the Peter Pan actors at Disney. There were multiple Peter Pan actors, and since they didn't know their real names, they decided to differentiate them with nicknames. And they would argue over which actor was the best Peter Pan. One of the most popular actors was Spieling Peter Pan. He was very popular, and he had a massive fan base alone. So much so that people started following him around the parks and stalking him. And since Peter Pan is a nice character, the actor has to find a nice way in character to say, "Please leave me alone." Many people were meeting Peter Pan at the parks, and they wanted to share their stories about meeting him. And some weren't so true. One person wrote a whole story about how Peter Pan kissed her self-harm scars and called them pirate scars. And the Spieling Peter Pan actor had to step in and say, "Hey, I didn't do that." People online were also trying to find his true identity, since Disney park actors try to keep them secret. And people eventually found out who he was through a retirement letter. The actor made a post saying that he was stepping down from the role as Peter Pan, and people found out that it was because he basically aged out of the role. And while he was offered other roles at Disney, he didn't accept them. But that didn't stop people's obsession with him, because people found out that he was with the actor of Wendy from Disney. His fans voted him in a contest, and they won, and so they ended up having their dream wedding. And now they live happily ever after with 2 kids, and from what I can tell, they still love Disney.
And we've actually even seen similar situations go viral. Remember the woman who touched Gaston and then appeared confused, like when he reacted the way he did? These situations really raise like an interesting question about Disney character interactions because there's a very important distinction that sometimes get forgotten. The person you're interacting with isn't actually Gaston. They're not actually Peter Pan. They're actors. They're real people who happen to be playing these characters while they're at work. And when you're watching these interactions through a screen, it can actually make people forget that they're just wearing a costume, and I feel like that's why they're acting so strange. The big question about all of this is Disney aware of these weird interactions going on with Peter Pan? Does Disney even care about their actors? Probably not. I really feel bad for them, and I hope someone actually goes to her and confronts her. But the fact that she spends a lot of money at the parks and she's like there almost every day, I don't think that's going to happen. So, do you guys think that she's actually making the characters uncomfortable, or is she just like an interesting fan and maybe we're looking too deep into it? Tell me your comments down below. But bye.